All right, so let's start with the first one, which is a soft light setup. I added one very large light source to camera left, and here you can see relative to the subject how large I set this light. And we always want to make sure we're taking care of our reflection, so I also added a texture to this light in the form of a gradient, which ultimately gives a much smoother reflection off of the can. Okay, for the next light, I added a light to the background by pointing that light directly into it. Now, by default, it comes in as a rectangle, but I wanted a more rounded gradient, so I switched it to a circle shape by coming down here to area shape in the object settings and switching it to disk. All right, so at this point, the shadows are obviously too dark, right? So we need to add an ambient light to brighten that up without really taking away from the other two main light sources, which can be tricky at times. Now, there are many ways to do it, but a way that I found was helpful was by adding a simple plane, scaling it up, and positioning it near the setup on camera right. Now, this turned out okay, but there were a couple of things that bothered me. On the right side of the can, you can see this subtle strip of highlight that makes it look as if a light is shining directly on it, which is not what I'm looking for. I want that fill to be much more uniform. So the solution that I found was to bend that plane using a bend deformer so that it ends up surrounding the setup a bit more from each direction. Now, to see if it actually made a difference, let's compare the two side by side. So you can see that the shadow exposure looks much more uniform than the previous one. All right, the next setup is a dappled light look. I first added the key light and placed it well above and to the left of the can so that we get this nice top-down angled type of light, which is nice. Now I do end up spilling some light on the background, which I don't want, so you can either just move the background further back, or in order to make sure absolutely no light from that key light hits that plane, we can go into the project settings of that light and drag and drop the background plane object into this field. That immediately tells Redshift, hey, don't put any light from this key light onto that background. And there you go. There is no more light no matter how close that background is to that light. Next, I added the background light with a gobo texture. I placed it pretty close to the key light and just aimed it toward the background. The way I set this up was I went into the object settings for that light, and in the texture slot is where you add your grayscale image. Once that's set, you need to make sure your spread is all the way down to 0, or at least close to it, to make sure that you can actually see the texture coming through. Now, I'm using one of the abstract ones from the folks at GSG, and what's cool about their plugin in C4D is I can take the name texture and drag it into their drop zone feature, which automatically creates an HDRI link tag, from which I can click on this button right here, which takes me straight to the plus library. And then from here, I can select which gobo I want by double clicking on it, and it automatically applies to that light. It's a really nice workflow, it's a huge time saver, and I really enjoy it. All right, so now we have our background light and our key light. Obviously, the shadows look a bit dark, so we need to balance that out. Just like the previous example, I took a plane, bended it with the bend deformer, and placed it near the set like so. And what this ultimately does is lifts the shadows significantly, resulting in a more balanced image in my opinion. All right, for the final setup, this one is not as straightforward as I'd hoped it'd be. I first started with an HDRI for my ambient light, and the way I set that up was I added a redshift dome light, and then threw in a GSG Creative Office HDRI in the texture slot via the drop zone just like you saw earlier. I set the saturation down to 0 so that there is no color influence from this light, and then dropped the exposure down by 4.5 EVs or so. And lastly, in the coordinates tab, I messed with the rotation to position the highlights where I saw fit. Then for the can, I added a light overhead and then added a softbox circle as the texture, which I thought made the highlight on the can look a bit more realistic. And just to show you, here's what that texture looks like from the GSG library, and here's how it looks on the light itself. Now, the next two lights sort of complement each other. The first one is actually a texture that I added to this disc, which is positioned right behind the can. Now, in the node editor, I drag and dropped this area light mapped in and plugged it into the opacity slot of the material, and then increased the gamma to about 1.7. Now, what that does is it gets rid of the border that initially was there by default. So we get this nice gradient radiating outward. Then I added a background light similar to the first setup. I placed this light aiming right into the background and positioned it in a way that it created this gradient from the bottom up on the background from the camera's perspective. And then after that, I added two rim lights on both sides of the can to sort of emphasize the glowing aspect of those backlights. This one right here, and then this one right here. Now, what that did was just create some rim lights on both the glass and on the can itself to suggest that those backlights are contributing to the subject as well, so that the background lights don't look disconnected from the scene, if that makes sense. And the last two things I did for this shot was added a small plane with a gold texture behind the glass so that we could reveal a bit more of the color of that liquid. Now, I know cold brew is typically a very dark liquid, but since those backlights are very suggestive, I thought I'd also brighten up that liquid a little bit to further enhance that effect. And then I played with the rotation of that plane to make sure it reflected light coming from the key light overhead and towards the camera. And just to show you what difference that made, here's a comparison between the two. See, it just brightens up that liquid just a little bit. Lastly, I noticed the left side of the can right here was a little bit too dark, so I simply added a plane as a fill card to camera left to slightly lift up those shadows, and I think that worked out fine. All right, so those are three different looks we created with just one scene. The only thing we changed was the lighting, and we kept the camera and the scene as it was. So hope this helps, and thanks for watching.